Hello YouTube, this is Asatsi5 and I got a very interesting video for you today. Pardon the hair, just got off work. But, yes, Cold Steel is suing Colombian River Knifing Tool, affectionately known as Cricket by some. This was very interesting to me because I do have a criminal justice background. Don't be impressed, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a law enforcement officer. I pretty much got the criminal justice background of someone who has a associate's degree, because that was my major in college. So I have a better understanding of criminal justice. I know more than the average Joe. Don't ask me for legal advice unless it's very, very basic legal advice. And take that with a grain of salt. But I do have a criminal justice background. It's very interesting to me, and I wish to talk about this situation. Basically, Cold Steel is suing Colombian River Knifing Tool for false advertising. And they're doing it under the Lanham Act. Let me check this out. Make sure I'm... Lanham Act. Under Section 43A, false advertisement. This is very interesting because when I first heard about this, I was curious. Does Cold Steel have standing to make this lawsuit? Basically, standing is, do you have something to gain or lose from this lawsuit? To kind of describe standing, if my next door neighbor has a window broken out by a kid, that neighbor can sue or press charges against that family, but I can't do it on their behalf. If I see that my neighbor's window is broken and they don't press charges or sue, I can't do it for them. They have to do it. So I was wondering, does Cold Steel have standing? Like in my example, only the victim has standing. I started doing research on the Lanham Act. It's very, very interesting. Consumers do not have standing under that act. Consumers being the people who's buying the product. The only people who have standing under the Lanham Act are the businesses and the stores themselves, the factories or companies, whatever you want to call them. So yes, Cold Steel does have standing. So that was very interesting to me. This law, this act was made to protect the companies, not the consumer. The reason why they're suing Colombian River Knifing Tool for false advertisement is because Colombian River Knifing Tool, when advertising their auto locks or manual locks, it's a secondary locking system to the original lock. They claim it makes it a virtual fixed blade. And just a quick definition of virtual from some website, I think it's called iwords.com, is being very, very close to a object or ideal without actually being it. So basically, a rock is very, very similar to a hammer. You can pound stakes in, you can drive nails in with a rock, but it's not actually a hammer. It's virtually a hammer. It's as close as it can possibly be to a hammer, but it's not a hammer. Kind of like with virtual reality video games. It's as close as possible to reality, but it's not actually reality. And it gets confusing. So basically, Colombian River Knifing Tool is claiming to have the strongest lock. It's second only to the fixed blade, or it's so much like a fixed blade, but it's not actually a fixed blade. And Cold Steel is calling BS because they posted videos of the auto locks being tested against one of their knives with the triad lock, and it did very, very poorly. I can't remember how much weight it posted. Held. I probably should have looked that up. But yes, like if a knife only holds 200 pounds on it or 100 pounds on its lock, it's far, far, far away from being a fixed blade. Cold Steel knives can hold about 500 pounds. Let's just say, for argument's sake, Colombian River Knifing Tool can hold 180 pounds. I'll have to look it up. I'll put it in the description box of how much their locking mechanism can hold. But yes, so how can their knife be a virtual fixed blade if it's failing at such a low weight hang test? So that is the false advertisement situation that Cold Steel is suing upon, because it's not close to a fixed blade, and in order for this lawsuit to go well for Cold Steel, they have to do several things. They have to prove that Columbia Riffle Knife Tool falsely advertised or misled in their advertisement. They have to prove that there was deception involved, or there was a tendency for deception, and that there was some sort of injury and or loss of money on Cold Steel's part due to this false advertisement. And so basically, what it all boils down to is that when a customer is picking a knife from Columbia Riffle Knife Tool Cold Steel and they see the word Vultural Fixed Blade, they automatically assume that the Columbia Riffle Knife Tool is going to be stronger than the Cold Steel, so they buy the Columbia Riffle Knife Tool, and it's not as strong as they say it is, and Cold Steel loses money in that way, and that's why Cold Steel is seeking financial compensation and such. So it's very, very interesting. A lot of people got pissed off at Cold Steel. They said it was a bitch move or a dick move, and but I like to, and Cold Steel mentions this. They said that their customers, or customers of knives in general, are knife users, and they deserve to have a strong knife and to trust that knife. And if the lock is subpar, they need to know that lock is subpar. So I actually think that Cold Steel, although some people might consider it bullying, I don't. I think they're actually looking out for the consumer. I met Lynn Thompson. I've seen a complete stranger who never carried a Cold Steel knife go up to Lynn, pull out a core shot, and say, "Well, what do you think of this knife?" And the first thing Lynn did was he talked about all the positive features of that knife, and then he said, "But the lock isn't as strong as I want it to be," which is very nice of Lynn. Lynn could have said his POS and, spit on him and stuff. Not that he would do that. But, yes, Lynn actually cares about his customers. So I don't quite understand why everybody's getting pissed off at Lynn. He's trying to prevent people from spending their money on a subpar product. Now, it can be argued, how strong does a folding knife need to be? I won't get into that. But yes, Cold Steel proved that the auto locks or manual lock system is not as strong as a triad lock. Nothing Fancy has proven that it's nowhere near as strong as a fixed blade. So did Cold Steel. So yes, by definition, Columbia Riffle Knife and Tool is misleading or falsely advertising. If Columbia Riffle Knife and Tool did their homework and tested their knives versus other knives and tested, well, how does this compare to a fixed blade, they wouldn't be in the trouble that they're in. And I'm not saying that I don't like Columbia Riffle Knife and Tool. I love Cold Steel. I like Columbia Riffle Knife and Tool. My name is Asatsu 5. That was one of my first decent knives. But by definition, Columbia Riffle Knife and Tool did wrong. That's it. I'm trying to make this video as quickly as possible because I only have 15 minutes. But yes, under the Lanham Act, which was created to protect businesses and corporations against other businesses and corporations, Columbia Riffle Knife and Tool, Cold Steel does have standing, and they do have a case for false advertisement. And this has been very interesting. I'm not hating on either company. Let them walk this out. But it's been very interesting to me. I've been enlightened on the Lanham Act and stuff. So that is my opinion on it. And my opinion is based on the information I researched on the Lanham Act, which you can find all kinds of stuff on it on the internet. It was originally created to deal with trademarks and logos and such. trademark dilution, but it also has a bit in there for false advertisement. And this is a federal case. This is transcending state lines. It's an interstate issue. This is going in federal court, so it's very interesting. So that's it. That's my little review, or not review, but a video on Cold Steel suing Colombian River Knife and Tool. And I don't think it's a bad thing. So that's it. Hope you have a great day. Please keep your comments civil. If you have any more questions for me, just say it politely and I will get to you. That's it. I'm a Salty 5 and I'm out.